5.2, solving systems of linear equations by substitution. Step 1, solve one of the equations for one of the variables. So get the equation to either say x equals or y equals. Step 2, substitute the expression from step 1 into the other equation and solve for the other variable. Step 3, substitute the value from step 2 into one of the original equations and solve. Example 1, solve each system by substitution, check your solution. Now, step 1 says we have to solve one of these equations for one of the variables. And if you take a look, this one already says y equals, this one already says y equals. So step 1 is done. Step 2 is we're going to substitute one of these in for the other one. So for example, this is y equals this. Well, if y equals this, and this is y, then I can substitute this in for y. So I'm going to replace this y with the negative 4x equals, I just put it right there, then I have 3x plus 14. That's the substitution part. You're substituting something in for something else. And now we have to solve for the variable that we have. So I'm going to solve for x by subtracting 3x. That gets me negative 7x equals 14. Then I'm going to divide by negative 7, which is going to leave me with x equals negative 2. Now, once I have x equals negative 2, remember that a solution here is an x comma y pair. So now I need to figure out what y is. So if I go back up, I have an x value here and I have an x value here. Which one of these equations does it look easier to substitute this into? And I'm going with the second one because it's just negative 4 times x versus this one we have to take 3 times x and then add on a 14. So it's up to you. You can pick either one. It doesn't matter, but I'm going to substitute it into here. So that's going to give me y equals negative 4 times my x value, which I found is negative 2. So y equals negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. So your solution to this system is negative 2, comma, positive 8. Letter B, 3x plus 2y equals 0, and then y equals 1/2 x minus 1. Now again, we have to solve one of these equations so that it either says x equals or y equals. Well, if you take a look at the second equation, it already says y equals, and we have y equals 1/2 x minus 1. So if this is y, then we're going to take it and substitute it in there. So we're going to have 3x plus 2, and then open up a big set of parentheses because this is 2y, where that little circle is. And we're going to substitute in there the 1/2 x minus 1. And then at the end of that, we still have our equals 0. Now we have to solve this equation for x. So we still have 3x plus. Then I'm going to distribute 2 times 1/2 x is just x minus 2 times 1 is 2 equals 0. Then I'm going to combine like terms. 3x plus x is 4x minus 2 equals 0. Then I'm going to add my 2. So 4x equals 2, and then divide by 4. So now we have x equals 1/2. Now again, remember you have to keep in mind that you're trying to find an ordered pair x comma y. So at this point we have to go substitute it back in. If we're trying to find y, this equation already says y equals. So I'm going to substitute it back in that one, and there's my x. So we're going to have y equals 1/2 times x, which we found was 1/2, minus 1. Y equals 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4, minus 1. And then y equals 1/4 minus 1 is -3/4. And then ultimately your answer, x comma y, is 1/2 comma -3/4. So if we were solving this graphically, that would be a point on the graph where both of those lines intersect. Letter C, x equals 6y minus 7, 4x plus y equals -3. Now on this one, it looks like the top equation is already solved, but instead of saying y equals, it says x equals. So this is x, so we're going to substitute it in for the x. So we're going to have 4x, so again, big parentheses, because in here you're going to substitute 6y minus 7, then back up to our plus y equals -3. Now we have to solve this equation for y, so I'm going to distribute. 4 times 6y is 24y minus 28. Then we have plus y equals -3. Combine like terms, 24y plus y is 25y. Bring down your minus 28 equals -3. Add 28. So then 25y equals 25. Divide by 25. Y equals 1. Then we have to go back and substitute that because we have to find x. Again, you can substitute it into the top one or the bottom one. It does not matter, but you're trying to find x, and this top equation already says x equals. So I'm going to substitute y right there. So x equals 6 times y, which we said was 1, minus 7. X equals 6 minus 7. X equals -1. And then your final answer, x comma y, -1 comma 1. Make sure you put the x first. So your solution is -1 comma 1.